Dr. George, what can you tell the viewers about the real dangers of lead exposure to hunters and fishermen and shooters in the indoor ranges? What about the fact that DNR has outlawed lead shot when hunting out waterfowl game? Can you interject a few things about, especially for hunters and fishermen?
Well, the DNR instituted the steel shot rather than the lead shot out of safety for the waterfowl, because they were ingesting those small pellets that were in the water, or ingesting food that had ingested the pellets, and that was leading to deformities and problems in the waterfowl.
Okay.
But my concern is if lead can harm the waterfowl, what can it do to our children?
Exactly.
These days, since the institution of no lead in paints, we saw lead levels in people drop, and then no lead gas. When we got rid of the lead in the gas, that also dropped the levels. But what we're doing now is we're not testing. My concern is that we're not getting our children to the doctors to be tested. When you go home, when you go to the firing range, or you're loading your own ammunition, or you're making your own sinkers at home, a lot of people still do that. You're exposing not only yourself but your children at home. It's on your clothes. You go home, you take off your clothes, you throw them in the family hamper. That gets washed with the rest of the clothes, and then everybody is ingested, including the family dog. So then, if you, again, personal hygiene, you have to wash your hands, not just the hands, but the forearms, the neck, any place. If you're wearing a cap, get rid of that cap before you go into home. All that does cause the lead to get accumulated in the body. And the smaller you are, like our children, and they have developing brains, the more you are apt to get it. You're more susceptible to lead poisoning as a child than you are as an adult. And that will cause learning problems. 10 microns, blood lead levels of 10 microns, which is still relatively small, have led to learning impairment. Kids being uncoordinated on the ball field, most often they'll say, well, he's just not coordinated, he's not good at sports. You better check his lead level, especially out in suburban areas and some inner city areas. We're not getting the children tested. We're trying, as primary care physicians, we get reminded all the time from the state of Michigan, test the children, and they're not being tested. The parents are not bringing them in. So your kid may not be as smart in school. Don't just look at learning disabilities and ADD. Why don't you concentrate to see if that kid has a lead level problem? It does not have to be 40 microns and above. It can be very low.